that would say that you knew the name of the Father and the name of the Son.
All right, now, 50 years ago in America, if you said, 50 years ago, if you said, I believe in God, everybody would understand that in our culture they would have assumed you were talking about the God of the Bible, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who we now understand his name is Yahweh or Jehovah.
Absolutely, yes.
But today, if somebody says they believe in God, you'd have to ask them, which God are you talking about? Because
Yes.
America has accepted in a lot more gods.
That and they have that there is an attempt to make the God a generic word,
Right.
where the name
That's
of
dangerous.
God is extremely important because it uniquely identifies our God as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Now, is that the same God as the God of Islam, the Muslims' God? Because some people, even our own president, said that we all worship the same God. Is Allah and Yahweh the same God?
Absolutely not. Allah is not the same God as Yahweh.
So what kind of God is Yahweh? I mean, is Allah? That means Allah would be, by God's definition, by Yahweh's definition, would be a pagan God.
Absolutely. It is another God. It is a God other than Yahweh. And Yahweh made it clear that we are not to have any other gods before him. And it really didn't mean that we were supposed, he just didn't want to be in second place. It meant that we were not to have any gods before our God.
Now that would include Allah,
And include
Buddha.
any other god.
How
any
about
other,
materialism,
or, the humanism.
humanism?
Yes.
Those could all be gods.
Yes.
That's good. So now that would make a lot of sense then, that since Islam is on the rise around the world, and especially in the West, if people are ignorant of the meaning of the names of various gods, I mean, people don't know that Yahweh and Allah are different gods, they could be deceived by Islam and actually end up worshiping another God other than God. They could violate the Ten Commandments because they're worshiping a pagan God, Allah.
Yes.
That's very, very dangerous.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And this is what has happened to a great extent, because the name of God for 2,500 years has been cloaked, either by the prohibition to use it or the ignorance that has pursued because of the various and several translations.
Yeah,
that
I noticed that. I've always wondered why my English Bible says, whenever you look at it says Lord, and it's talking about, it just says Lord in a generic sense. But the Hebrew, if you look at it up in the original language, it actually says Yahweh.
Yes.
And it's important today that we get that, because of the rise of other gods in the earth. And
Yes.
as we get to the last days, it's going to get more important than ever that we know our God, the God of the Bible, the God of both the Jews and the Christians. And the irony is that Jews don't use the name of Yahweh anymore because they think it's too holy to say, and Christians don't use it anymore because they never did know that was his name.
That's right.
John, what's that verse in Proverbs? I don't know the reference, but it actually mentions God and his Son.
I believe that's Proverbs 33, verse 3.
Well, I don't know the reference,
30.
but it says, what's it say? It says, maybe you can look that up.
Let me see if I can look that up.
I think it's 20-something actually. But it says that it talks about God. It's talking about Yahweh. It says,
it's
what is
actually-
his name and his Son's name?
Actually, it's Proverbs 30, verse 4.
All right.
What is his name? And what is his son's name, it says?
If
You know.
So a lot of people, Jews and Christians, don't know his name, and they don't know his Son's name. And that's something
Absolutely.
we ought to help people learn, that God has a name, it's Yahweh, and His Son, He has a Son whose name is Yeshua. Maybe next time we can talk about the fact that Islam, clearly, even in the Quran and the other writings of Muhammad, says that Allah is not a father and He doesn't have a son. That in itself would prove that He's not the same God as the God of the Bible, wouldn't it?
Yes, this question wouldn't even be asked.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that next time, all right?
Okay.
This has been fun.
Yeah, it
Great.
has.
Thank you. God
You're
bless you.
welcome.
Be
You're
blessed.
welcome.
In the name of Yahweh and in the name of Yeshua ben Yahweh.
Yes, I don't know
Amen.
how this all come out, but
Hallelujah.
bye.